You want answers? You want to hear from real people with real stories? Then get ready for the RYB podcast.
Well, hello there. I just wanted to ask you a couple questions about marriage. Is that okay?
Sure.
All right. Can you tell me one thing that makes a great marriage?
Communication.
Communication. All right. And how long have you been married?
17 years.
All righty. And, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Well, hello there. I'd like to ask you a question about marriage, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Can you tell me one thing that makes a great marriage?
I would say the one thing that makes a great marriage is being able to accept the differences in each other.
Oh, that's awesome. And then are you currently married?
I am.
How long have you been married for?
Well, I've been married for 35 years.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, hey, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Well, hello there.
Hi.
I would like to ask you a quick question about marriage, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind.
What's one thing that makes a great marriage?
You need to pray together every single day. You need to see God's face. Let the Lord surrender before Him every day together as a couple. And of course, individual too, but prayer is so important.
All right. Thank you very much. And how long have you been married?
25 years.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, hello there.
Hi.
Hey, I would like to ask you a question about marriage, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Can you give me something that's so important about marriage, something that you can say, hey, this is really important if you're married?
I would say that God uses marriage with another person to help you grow to be the person God has called you to be. So when you're married to the right person, they bring out the attributes in you that God wants you to grow into. So it's love or trust, communication, it's forgiveness, mercy, and grace.
All right. Hey, thank you very much. You have a nice one. Well, hi there. Welcome to RYB 2911. Hey, we're doing a series on marriage, and we're trying to get different looks at different generations, per se. And I understand you guys are about to be married. Is that correct?
We got 90 days today.
That's awesome. And he proposed to you at the beach or something like that you were mentioning?
Yeah, we got, he took me to the beach. We had a picnic out there, and he brought some of my favorite snacks and then dropped down on like,
Yeah. And what's your favorite snacks?
white cheddar Cheez-Its, and then I love crackers and brie cheese.
Now, did you have to research that, or you already knew that?
I knew that.
What's your name? Is it Isaac, right? And
Bailey.
Bailey. Nice to meet you both. I kind of know you a little bit already, but for those folks out there that kind of know you too, it's nice. So anyway, I had some questions, and we're trying to get different generations. You're the younger generation because you're just about to be married. And so we got 8 questions for you to answer. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
All right. So here's the first question. Is goes in the category of trust and honesty. And the question is, how much do you trust your soon-to-be spouse to be honest? And let's start with Isaac, the man, first.
She's always been super honest with me, so I trust her with my whole heart.
And all right. And how about you, Miss Bailey? How much do you trust him? Do you trust him when he's driving? Do you trust him when he's doing shopping?
Yeah, I mean, I trust him with all of that. Yeah, he's never been dishonest with me in anything, so there's never been.
So he's a good driver too. So you trust him that way too?
Yeah.
Okay, do you trust her when she's driving?
Yes.
Or is your prayer time goes up a little bit when she's driving?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Well, I mean, trust is the foundation of a strong marriage, and we just wanted to ask these questions because it reflects on how secure you'll be in your marriage, and so that's a good thing to think about. Well, number 2 question is about communication and understanding. And so the question is, how is your communication with your soon-to-be spouse, and do you understand each other? And the communication is kind of like oxygen. It's the oxygen of relationships, by the way. It's without it, things seem to suffocate. If you don't have communication, the relationship suffocates pretty quickly. So, Bailey, I want to ask you, I know that it seems to be, I've been married for quite a long, and I'm kind of a student of my wife and ladies, and it seems like girls have a little bit more words than guys. Would you say that's maybe true? You know, a few more words than the guys. I think I read a book something about that girls have twice as much words than guys in it. And what about you? Do you think you have a good communication with Isaac or?
I think with us, it's interesting because I am not one to talk about my feelings as much, whereas he is. So if we're ever in need of some communication, if something's going wrong, it's usually I need a little bit more time to stop and think about it, and where he wants to talk about it usually right away. But I usually need a second to gather my words and figure myself out before we have any kind of serious.
Well, you know, that's normal because guys are hunters. We're for the most part, we're pragmatic. We go like, let's catch it, let's fix it, and we're done. And girls ruminated on it a little bit more. They kind of like think about all the details. And we're not saying that's wrong. That's what makes marriage so beautiful. You got two different people with two different viewpoints. But if they can come together and focus on truly what's important, then you see something that's called a miracle, you know? And so how about you, Isaac? What's some of the ways that helps your communication with Bailey?
Well, like she said, like, with me, I want to like get to the point, like what's going on and like talk about it, as where with her, like she needs to sit and think. So I kind of try and understand that and realize that she needs to get what she has to say together. And then we go about and we talk about it.
Well, here's a tidbit for you guys is that one of the big things for communication, the biggest part, you know what it is? Listening. So especially for men, we got to watch what comes out of our mouth. Girls remember everything, Isaac. So just remember that down the road, okay? And keep it up in the head, but really filter it when it comes out in the mouth, because you might not get the toast that you like in the morning because you didn't say it correctly. All right, let's move on to the next question. This is an intimacy and connection, and what does intimacy look like when it comes to marriage? Now, when I talk about intimacy, it goes far beyond physical connection. It's about feelings and emotions and understanding the desires of your partner, and you know, the intimacy with the relationship. It's been said is the word intimacy means intimacy. You know, so are you able to, and how do you go about that? Let's start with Isaac. How do you go about that? It's hard for guys with intimacies because we like to compartmentalize and, you know, but what would you say? How do you allow Bailey to be intimate with you? He's like, wow, that's a tough question.
Yeah. We should start.
Okay, let's start with Bailey. That's all right. Oh, and I'm glad you're honest like that, because there's men out there right now watching and they're going like, I'm just like that guy. Heck no, I don't think I touched out with a 10-foot pole. What do you say, Bailey? How do you pull out the intimacy with Isaac, perhaps, and how are you intimate with him?
I think it's the encouraging the more serious but more emotional conversations. He's definitely a words guy, like a words of affirmation type guy, whereas I'm usually not. But when we're having those conversations, bringing that out and saying, like, if he's feeling down or upset or vice versa, having that conversation and seeing that and trying to help the other feel better.
Awesome. Well, okay, let's move on to the next question, because that intimacy question is something that we all can grow in, learn in, you know, and it does also go with physical, but you guys aren't quite married yet, so we're not going to, you know, I mean, maybe even intimacy is holding hands now, you know, just giving each other a kiss or a hug, you know, and so how far does that go and what's that look like? But that's all guidelines that you have, man, and it changes as you get older. You know, because you're going to learn different ways to do those things. So the next question is future goals and expectations. You guys have any future goals? What would you say your future goal is? Let's start with Isaac one more time since he
Be a homeowner.
A homeowner, okay.
To have kids.
And also have some kids. How many kids do you want?
3.
I want 2 or 3 of my own, or our own, and then I want to adopt at least one.
Oh, you want to adopt one? Okay, good for you. Okay. All right. And then, so, well, looking ahead is crucial for any marriage. You got to think about your visions and dreams. What are you going to do with finances? What are you going to do with those kids? How do you raise them and all those kind of things? What do you do when you're retired? Are you already saving up for that?
Yeah.
And I mean, those are all things that are going to come across your plate. You're not even married yet, but you will be. But you got to think about those things. You might want to look back on this video later and go over those questions when you're by yourself. So the next question is conflict resolution, a fancy word for fighting. How do you resolve conflict in your relationships? Now, every couple disagrees, and it's how you handle those disagreements which makes a difference between staying together or getting divorced. Okay, so let's start with Bailey. If you get in a disagreement with Isaac, how do you handle those situations?
Well, I look back on what my mom always told me. It's well, are you gonna break up with him for it? Is it that serious where you need to consider that? And if it's no, then we sit down, we have a discussion, and we figure out where the other one was hurt, and we figure it out together, facing the problem oh my goodness.
That's okay.
Rather than facing each other, face the problem. And that's kind of how,
well, that's very good.
at least I look at any argument that we have.
Okay, well, how about you, Isaac? How are you gonna when you have those days? Now, I want to just let you know that women are different from men. And sometimes they could think there's a book out there, men are from Mars and women are from Venus, and sometimes that holds really true. You're not going to understand why the woman is feeling a certain way, but or says a certain thing or wants a certain thing a certain way. How are you going to resolve that conflict? What's one of the ways do you think you can do that?
I think just sitting down and talking about the problem and looking at it from both sides, and kind of like what she said, like, I've had a lot of great conversations with her parents, and that's one that I've heard. And so, yeah, is it going to be that big of a problem that you're going to divorce that person or break up with that person? If not, talk it out and attack the problem rather than.
Right. I know, like when my mom would get mad or get upset with my dad, she'd go sit out on the diving board by the pool and not talk to anybody and get this silent treatment. And that was the worst penalty. We'd rather have her yell at us than give the silent treatment. So let me let you cross one off your list. Don't do the silent treatment, but do give space, Yeah. All right. So yeah, great. You guys are doing good. We're almost done here. Personal growth and change. How do you adapt and change? People change and grow throughout their lives. A healthy marriage adapts when we grow. So you're about to get married, so you're going to change. All the dating stuff that you do, you should continue to date, by the way. But all the dating stuff, you're going to find out where he leaves his underwear. You're going to find out what the way she leaves the shower. I mean, I know my shower at my home when Lisa invades my man's space, is like all these fluffy things and 6 different shampoos. And you're like, man, you just need a bar of soap. Give me a break, but you have to adapt to that.
Yeah.
And so, how will you go about adapting to or have you even thought about those changes?
Yeah, because I have 4 sisters, so
so you
I have a little experience.
You got a little extra credit there.
I got to learn to not be selfish and thinking about how I do things, and learn that I got to grow with her. And learn how she does things.
Ooh, to be a good adapter and be, one of the words is patient.
Yeah.
Now, how about you? You're going to find out things about him that he's been hiding already. There's things that men hide, and they don't even know they do it. And you're going to find that, and you're going to go, what is this?
Yeah.
And so what do you think will be the ingredient to keep it cohesive, to keep it so that that's not the problem? But how are you going to deal with that?
There are already some things where, like, he's at my house all the time.
He's looking at you now. Yeah.
He's at my house all the time, and he's got his own clothes at my house, and when he gets off work, he comes over to my house and put his like casual clothes on and stuff like that. And it's just learning that, like, his brain doesn't work the same way as mine, where mine is like, oh, like, your gym clothes are next to my pillow.
Yeah.
They just like little things like that. It's like his brain doesn't work like that. So instead of getting upset, just saying like just men bringing it up like, hey, just by the way, and instead of just immediately jumping on, why would you do that? Why didn't you think about that?
Well, you don't want to be a nag.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and the same token as a guy, treat your wife like a filly so you won't be a nag, you know? And so, okay, we had just 2 last questions. I'm enjoying the background drumming and all that. It's amazing. But, when it comes to forgiveness, say you have an argument, say you have a problem, or maybe there's past issues, how do you deal with forgiveness? So let's start with Bailey. I see you're thinking about that a little bit. I mean, sometimes we need to look backwards to go forward, you know? And so have you thought about that? Have you thought about areas that maybe, how do I deal with things in the past to take care of things for the future?
I mean, there hasn't really been anything for us that has been very like big where I would need to be aware of it and it affects our future. But if ever there was something like that, I'm very much like, let's move forward and let's just say there's no use dwelling in the past. So I don't know how I would handle something if we needed. So look back and something like that. But I definitely more of that. Like, let's move on. Let's talk about something else.
What do you think about that, Isaac? What's one of the ingredients that will help you forgive?
Jesus.
There you go. Come on out.
But like she said, like, so far in a relationship, there hasn't been anything to where, like, we've been so mad at each other, we just go back to it constantly, whatever happened. Like, we have little arguments that are just like, oh, like, gym clothes are next to my pillow.
Yeah. Is this your underwear on the floor, sir?
But if I'm being honest, like, you just want to move past it and like not dwell in it.
Yeah. Okay, here's the last question, and we're almost done. We're right on time too. Right now, I know you guys aren't married yet, but how would you grade on a 1 to 10? And let's be honest on this, your relationship and the satisfaction that you have in it. 1 to 10. Let's start with Bailey.
I would say a 9 because we're great.
Yeah,
but there's always room to grow.
Yeah. How about you?
Then I feel the same. Like, I love that. I love this.
5.
I love this girl, but there's always room for us to grow and improve. So.
All right, guys. Hey, I want to thank you for helping us out today, and you have a blessed day. And don't forget to read your Bible. Well, hi there. Hey, I would like to ask you a couple questions about marriage, if you don't mind. Is that okay?
Okay.
All righty. First of all, what's your names?
My name's Doug Harrelson. This is my wife, Brenda Harrelson.
Oh, hi, Brenda. And then how long have you guys been married?
42 years this October.
Did you remember that, Doug? The anniversary?
Oh, yeah.
You good at that?
Yeah, I am.
Did you
October 6th.
Yeah. Did you ever have a hard time remembering that at all when you're younger, or no?
Sometimes I'd forget.
Yeah, that's all of us. I've been married 40 years, so I'm not too far behind you. But I'm kind of crazy, so I'll do crazy stuff for it, and it helps me remember. Otherwise, I'd probably forget. But anyway, I have 8 questions, and just answer them honestly if you can. If you can't, that's okay. You can take a pass on it. But the first question is about trust, because trust is the foundation of a strong marriage. Would you agree with that?
Amen.
And this just kind of helps you secure, each other with that trust. And so the question is, how much do you trust your spouse to be honest? How much do you trust your spouse to be honest? And is there times that maybe there's areas that you have to trust a little more, perhaps? And maybe we'll start with you, Brenda. Tell us a little bit about trusting Doug. How do you trust him, and how much do you trust him in it?
Well, I trust him. I think probably starting off in the marriage, because I came from being in church all my life, and I was going to trust the man I married to be a long relationship. I wasn't getting into a marriage to think about the grass is greener on the other side, and I'm going to get divorced.
All right.
It was for a lasting of lifetimes. in order to have that, you're going to have to.
Right. It's essential. How about you, Doug? What would you say about that trust issue or about trusting?
As far as trusting Brenda, I'd use a scale. I like using a scale as far as 1 to 10. She's definitely a 10 as far as I would trust her. I'd trust her with my finances. I'd trust her with everything. That's it. I'd give her a 10.
Would you say trust is built over time because it's not all achieved all at once? I mean, it's kind of like, I know with me and my wife, Lisa, she came from a home that she had a hard time trusting anybody. And I mean, even to like driving a car, do you trust Brenda when she drives? Do you trust Doug when he drives, or do you trust?
Might be a little different.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But that's a trust issue or in a marriage. Or how about trusting when you go shopping? Are you okay sending Doug on a shopping thing without a list? And I mean, there's that old joke about the guy goes out and his wife wants a chocolate sundae with a strawberry on top. And he said, "You better write it down, honey. You better write it down." And he's like, "No, I got this." He comes back, she goes, "You're going to forget." And he said, "No, I got it." He comes back and he throws a paper sack on her bed. And she's like, "What's this?" And he opens up, it's a ham and cheese on rye. And she says, "Honey, I knew you'd forget. You forgot the mustard." But I mean, that's there's a lot of trust issues, not just in the regular personalities, but I mean, different things that we do in a marriage. Would you agree with that?
Amen.
And we grow at it, because I know at the start, maybe Lisa didn't trust me when I drive, but now she's like, okay with it,
Sure.
And so, okay, that's a good one. And the next question is in the category of communication and understanding. Do you guys, how would you say your communication with your spouse is, and do you really understand each other all the time? And let's start with you, Doug. What do you think? How's your communication with Brenda, and do you understand her all the time?
I'm not a good communicator to begin with. And there's a lot of things I don't want to know. So I don't want to ask Brenda about a lot of stuff. And that's about it. I'm not a good communicator.
No.
I'm still learning, even after 40 some years, where I have to be a better communicator. But as far as the things of God, though, we're really open on those.
Yeah.
We're really we really like to talk about that. And but as far as communicating, no, I'm not a good communicator.
Well, yeah, communication is like, in a marriage, is like oxygen. If you don't have communication, you're going to die.
Absolutely.
And so as it suffocates pretty quickly if you don't have communication. You ever have, Brenda, a time when you're angry with Doug and perhaps you stop communicating and it's kind of like the difficult part where you kind of like, wait a minute, I better say something or I better do something.
Yeah, I think at times, we know when we're if I'm communicating, I know that I better quiet down now. I know what buttons, that you can push sometimes, but, I agree with Doug. I think I talk probably more than he does when it comes to the communication. But I don't know, women a lot more words to say than men do.
I tell Lisa all the time, well, you're yakking it up again. And one of the things I've learned over the years, I said, well, the one thing is the best kind of marriages is a man that listens, and it says in the Bible, what does it say? Be quick to listen, and slow to speak, And sometimes when girls speak girl language, it's like, okay, well, women are from Venus and men are from Mars. I get it. And so you kind of got to go that direction on it. Well, thank you for that. Okay, the next question is intimacy and connection categories. So, like, what does intimacy look like in your marriage now? And I tell people a lot of times the word intimacy means intimacy. And how deep do you allow, and maybe what was the level after your marriage? You've been married 40 years. Maybe when you first started, intimacy looks a certain way, but as you get older, are you able to, does it look different? Do you do something different? You allow them to get closer or maybe not as close? So what would you say about the intimacy part? Does it look different from when you first started to now and that kind of thing? What do you think?
Oh yeah. The when you're younger in a marriage, why the intimacy is I think you're more selfish. Well, see, after 40 years, I can read Brenda. So I know what more or less what she's thinking, what she's doing, and everything else. So it's an easy read for me.
Yeah.
So I'll that's it. I can read her. I can read if it's a good time or it's not a good time.
Right.
I can read that pretty good.
What do you say about that, Brenda? You look inside of him a little bit, and you kind of know the way he's going to roll on this, and I mean, a lot of times people think intimacy is just about touch and all that fun stuff, which is not wrong, but there's more to it, I would say.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know what to say on that.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right. Okay, well, good answers. You guys are doing good. We're going down here. The next one is about future. What are your future goals? You guys been married for 40 years. What are your future goals together? What do they look like? And what would you say, Brenda? What do your future goals look like?
Well, God's always at the top of our list. I mean, our marriage was started out, we met at church. And so we have always had that as the forefront of our marriage. And so anything that has to do with God, and a lot of it is now at our age, and we can support more. And I mean, we've always supported, but we can do more in times now. And so our goals in the natural, of course, we love to travel.
Travel, yeah. Do you do like cruises and that kind of thing?
Cruises.
Yeah.
We try to do 1 or 2 a year, but I would say for the most part, we always want to, keep God.
Yeah.
And that, and even when we travel, we always are looking for a church to go to visit.
Fellowship or whatever.
Fellowship. We don't just say we don't do that on vacation.
Yeah, no, that's
I think we have a lot of friends that do that too. They enjoy going to the church, different churches, and that's part of because it is part of our culture. That's just part of us.
Yeah, that's who you are.
That's who we are.
What do you think about that? Do you have future goals in mind for you, Brenda, there, Doug?
Well, mostly just I want to stay healthy. I didn't think about turning 70 until I turned 69. And the health wise, keeping us, God has really been good to us as far as keeping our mind and our bodies healthy.
Praise the Lord, yeah.
We've gone through, things, knees and everything and stuff like that. But staying healthy, probably number one goal is staying healthy, because and see as you grow older, your wants and your needs are totally different than when you first got married, because your desires aren't like they used to be. You really don't want that thing. You don't need that thing, because when you buy something, it was pointed out to me, when you buy something of value, the Lord really dropped this in my spirit, where I know that the house I live in right now, in 100 years, I won't be living there.
Yeah.
Somebody else will be living there.
Yeah.
So when you buy stuff, you're actually buying it for generations afterwards. And so your desires kind of, they just back off your desires.
That's your future goals and stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. And you kind of fell into the next question was, how do you adapt to change? How do you adapt to change? I mean, because people change and grow throughout their lives, and a healthy marriage adapts and grows too with it. I mean, there's things that Lisa and I used to do. I mean, I'm a missionary. I go to different countries, and she used to go on a lot too. But because of physical limitations, she doesn't go as much. So you adapt to that, but you don't kick the baby out with the bathwater. You don't go like, oh, that's too bad. And I think you kind of broached that a little bit with your explanation just a moment ago. Is there certain areas, Brenda, that you had to adapt to in your marriage with change that you can think of?
Well, our marriage was a little out of the 40 years or 42 we've been married. Uh, 35 of those years, Doug worked nights and I worked days. So our marriage was a little different. He would come home from work and I'd be going to work. And so then when we retired, we even had a friend that's a psychologist, and she said, how are you and Uncle Doug adapting, both of you being home together? Because she had a lot of patients that, just didn't know how to handle each other. Well, to us, it was different because we were together. We enjoyed it because we had missed that a lot of times, except on the weekends,
Yeah.
So the change for us when we retired was good. Our marriage, we were with each other, and we didn't mind being with each other.
Right. Yeah.
Because we hadn't been
Right.
for all those years.
Well, that kind of rolls into like when we were younger and then we had the kids were younger. You have Christmas and all the holidays together, but suddenly they get married and now you have all these satellites and you have to juggle, figure out how that goes. And that's part of that adaptation, and then this rolls into that next question. How do you resolve conflict in your relationship? I mean, every couple disagrees at times, and it's how you handle those disagreements that makes a difference. And so when you guys have an argument or, a disagreement, how do you work with that? What do you do? What do you think, Brenda?
Well, I pray usually because that's always been my tool. I go to a piano. I'll just play the piano. I'll get saturated, into.
So they know mom's angry when she gets on the piano.
Yeah. But that's just because I know, sometimes you can't always talk right away.
Yeah.
Or, because you need to sometimes they say count to 10 before you correct the
child. You got to
child.
simmer a little bit. Yeah.
So I probably do that just to kind of see the whole perspective, try to see his side of you.
Well, that's why
I don't always do that. I don't always see where he's coming from, but it helps for me to just kind of go there and stay before the Lord a little bit.
Yeah. How about you, Doug? What do you say for conflict or arguments? What is your go-to? What do you do?
Well, a lot of times I'll just walk away from it, and I know it's the Holy Spirit will just deal with me. And I love Brenda so much that I don't want to see her hurt.
Yes, right.
That just hurts my inside to know that she could be hurting over this. And so, I don't think we've ever went to bed mad at one another. We've always resolved it before we laid our heads down on bed. I'm not saying all the time.
Yeah, but for the majority.
For the majority of time. But conflict, I think as you get older, it's nothing but Jesus. If I tell you what, I told Britt, if we didn't have Jesus in our life, there's no telling we have made it 40 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. Jesus is get wrapped up in Jesus.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to. I mean, especially nowadays.
Oh yeah. So last question I'm going to give you, and we're going to let you go after this, is that on a scale of 1 to 10, now Lisa hates when I do this to her, but on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 was the best miracle, fantastic relationship ever, and 0 is, oh my gosh, that's not good. What would you rate your relationship between each other is? Now 10's perfect, so I'm not sure, but what would you say your relationship is?
Oh, for me personally, I think Brenda's a 10 because I've always played off of her gift. God gives us all different gifts.
Yeah.
Now, where the trouble I find out a lot of times is where men won't men will not lift up their wife's gifts that God gives them and use them for their benefit. Well, not Doug. the Lord was really kind in showing me Brenda has a gift of administration, a gift of finances, a gift of, she knows what she's doing with business. She ran a corporation for a long time.
Yeah.
And so why not play off of those gifts? So I don't have to worry about a lot of things.
Yeah.
I just go, Brenda, what is this? What is this? What is this? And it works.
All right. How about you, Brenda? 1 to 10, what are you going to give him?
Maybe I should just give him an 8.
You give him an 8. You're more pragmatic. That's good. That's still good. That's Lisa.
That's so good.
Lisa might give me a 6. Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for your time, and you have a blessed day. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Well, hi there, guys. Hey, I want to ask you a few questions about marriage, if you don't mind. Is that okay?
Sure.
All right. First of all, what's your guys' names?
My name is Sarah.
I'm Ryan.
All righty. And how long have you been married?
20 years this past June.
Do you remember that date there, Ryan, when you were married?
Absolutely.
You don't forget it, huh? That's good. That saves a little bit of a headache once in a while. Okay, well, I'm going to ask you a few different questions here, and just honestly as you can. If it's something you're not sure about, that's fine too. And they're all about marriage, and we're trying to let people know, different age groups and how they respond to these. And so the first question is going to be in the category of trust and honesty. And so I'm going to ask you, how much do you trust your spouse to be honest? Now, I'm not just talking about like, is she a truth teller for sure, or is he a truth teller? But I mean, do you trust them to go to the store? Do you trust them to drive the car? Do you trust, that kind of thing? So let's start with Sarah, perhaps. How much do you trust Ryan?
I trust Ryan explicitly. Except when it goes to the store. When he goes to the store. I trust he is going to call me and ask questions. I trust that he is consistent in calling and asking questions.
Yeah.
I trust Ryan.
Yeah,
he does not, he's a terrible liar. He has a terrible poker face. So I know when he's he's always going to tell me the truth.
Yeah.
If I come out and something and like, hey, does this look okay? I can instantly tell, like, if he hesitates, then I know there's something he doesn't like about it. Same thing with dinner. Like, hey, did it taste okay? And he'll like, it wasn't my favorite. He still says it gently, but I trust that he's always going to be honest.
And how about you, Ryan? How much do you trust Sarah about things?
Completely. I don't think that I've ever had in 20 plus years of a relationship, I don't think I've ever really had a reason to doubt to place any trust in her.
Yeah. Well, trust is essential in a marriage because it helps a person feel secure, and that's why a lot of marriages go sideways, because they don't have that trust factor. They don't have that security. And especially for girls, they need to have someone to latch onto to be secure and keep that marriage successful. The next question is going to be in the understanding of communication and understanding. And the question is, how is your communication with your spouse, and do you understand each other? Now, there's that book out there, Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. I believe that's true, because girls can yak it up sometimes, and you just kind of have to figure out, what did they just say? At least that's the way I go with Lisa. But maybe, Ryan, you can tell me a little bit about you and Sarah. How's your communication level? There's times when, you're not sure, you don't communicate, or, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever really struggled to communicate. There's been, times where we, haven't communicated, just out of, we always know when we haven't communicated, because there's like days where we just feel off, where it's like, man, we haven't had we haven't had time together. We haven't set apart time to really dialogue back and forth. And that's a really important part of a relationship is having that time. A lot of times we kind of digest our days, and at nighttime, just sitting on bed next to each other, we kind of talk through things. When we haven't done that in a few days, it kind of stacks up, and you can kind of feel off as a couple, even off rhythm, so to speak. But communication has always been pretty key in our marriage, and I think we've been pretty good at it.
Yeah. So, what do you feel about that, Sarah?
I think I agreed over the years, but it took a lot of effort and work to what I considered communicating. was assuming Ryan's intentions. So when he would say something, I filled in the blanks with my own assumptions of what he meant by it, instead of just taking it for what it was and taking it at face value and knowing that, no, this is what he really meant by it. And so it took a lot of effort on, like, for me to realize that. And honestly, when I started to do that, we probably
Things got
better.
better.
Yeah, because I would fill in blanks for him and what I assumed he meant by something, and especially if it's through text messaging.
Yeah.
Because you assume, like, however I'm feeling is how I think his text message is coming across. And so I'll see it as like, oh, he's being sarcastic, or he's being rude or mean.
Oh, yeah.
And that may not be his intention. And so over the years, though, but 20 years into it, we've gotten a lot better, and I've gotten better at just trusting his intentions.
Yeah.
Something he says.
And you can see how that falls into my next question about intimacy in your marriage, and how we grow in it differently. There's the physical intimacy, of course, but then there's also the intimacy, like intimacy. And you guys are just giving perfect examples. In the communication part, you kind of know the way she's going to say. She has to kind of know a little bit, but she's still like filling that out. You haven't achieved it 100%. But in that question is, what does intimacy look like in your marriage? What would you say about that, Ryan?
Intimacy. I mean, on my side of things, I'm very touchy feely, but it's more of just like, it's more than just a physical, me coming up, rubbing her back, giving her a foot massage or whatever. It's intimacy. Also folds in with communication, but it's a closeness. It's a feeling close to her. Being on the same page all the time. It's a good feeling.
Doesn't necessarily always have to be sex.
No.
Although, and as you grow, you see there's a little change in that. For me, when you first get married, it's probably a lot more bending towards that. Then as you go down the steps a little bit more, it changes. Would you agree with that, Sarah?
Yeah, and so there's an emotional intimacy that can benefit a physical intimacy, but it's your emotional intimacy. It's that connection. It's talking every day. It is physical touch, but like hand holding or long hugs.
Yeah.
And just being able to be vulnerable with each other is what I think creates a deeper intimacy for us.
Yeah. And
outside of just physical.
And that's so important. A lot of people don't understand that in a relationship, especially if you're not mature in your relationship, you don't understand that there's such a plethora of different ways to show intimacy, or to experience intimacy, which includes communication, which includes physical touch, when knowing each other, having insight. Well, the next question about insight and stuff like that, it would be what are your future goals together? I mean, looking ahead together is crucial for any marriage. But, this ensures that you're both rowing in the same direction, And so what would you say, Sarah, is your future goals for your marriage?
To grow deeper, I think we just started more recently in the last couple of years, really diving deeper into Marriage Encounter and being more involved in that. And as a
what is Marriage Encounter?
Marriage Encounter is a weekend boot camp on communication.
So you can do a plug for it. It's okay.
Okay, yes. It's a weekend away together to just learn. It's like a crash course on communication for your marriage. And so doing ministry together that focuses on marriages is something we lead together. And so just, I think for our future is continue doing ministry together. I think our biggest goal in our future, though, is to just crush being grandparents.
Anything to add to that, Brian?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready to be I'm not ready to be a grandparent, but I'm ready to be a grandparent.
Yeah.
But, be grandparents, right off into the sunset together. And, because there's different stages of life. And once we get past the grind of an everyday kid schedule, everything else, there's a different stage set for us.
Yeah, he can give them back afterwards, which is nice. You know,
Yeah.
so I mean,
But it's more of a letting go, focusing on kids' schedules, and more focusing back into the two of us, and being in that space where we're growing closer together on a different level.
Yeah, very good, very good. Okay, so here's another topic that's kind of interesting is conflict resolution. Fancy word, right? And how do you resolve conflict resolutions in your relationship? I mean, every couple disagrees, and it's how you handle those disagreements that makes all the differences, you know? And so maybe start with you, Ryan. If you have an argument, that is all that.
I can answer it already for you. It's easy. He just knows
Okay.
I'm right, and he says he's sorry. And then
Oh,
resolution comes up. There's our
see.
conflict resolution.
Yeah. To be totally honest, I don't have a whole lot of things that I get upset with her about. But when she's upset with me,
What about the time she wore the Padre jersey? Was she really upset?
never ever happened.
No.
Never disrespected him.
Never. If there's been times, a lot of times she's upset with me because I know she needs her space, but I also know that I want to take care of it as soon as possible. So I don't like to let things linger, and I pretty much give her time to kind of go through whatever she's thinking about. But at the end of the day, I'm always having those conversations up front. I don't want to go 1-2 days a week with letting something, like kind of boil to a point or simmer. I'll kind of attack conflicts, that may or even the next day, but very rarely do we let things.
Don't let the sun go down on your anger, like the Bible says.
Ryan's
perhaps.
really good at that. I
Yeah.
let it linger.
Well, most ladies
Yeah,
do, because you guys think a lot more than guys do.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he wants to resolve it. He isn't well if we're not okay, and that it really affects him. And so he's very good about making sure that we get it resolved. And it doesn't mean that he has to cower to me or oh, I gotta fix it. But let's just talk about it. And we just had an issue the other day where we weren't seeing eye to eye on it, and we work it out. The biggest thing is for us is I wouldn't say it's 100% of the time, but I think we're pretty faithful at it. Is we don't attack character or say mean name calling.
Yeah, nothing caustic.
We really try to just focus on hurt feeling or the conflict and not each other's character. And he's better at it than I am for sure. And over the years has taught me that it doesn't. It really just causes more conflict and more damage.
Just adds to it, yeah.
Yeah, but that's been 20 years of it. I'd say in the early years of our marriage.
You had some good names for him that you
Yes, I did. And it really accomplished nothing.
Right.
I remember one of the first arguments we got into, and I started yelling, and he just wasn't sarcastic because his defense mechanism is sarcasm.
Okay.
And so, but he wasn't being sarcastic when he said it, and he just kind of looked at me and he's like, "Why are you yelling?"
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know, that I'm mad.
I'm Italian. No.
Yeah, that's what you do. I'm mad, I guess. And so from that point on, I think it taught me very quickly that we're not getting anything resolved this way. And winning an argument with your spouse, there's not a winner.
Yeah.
The winning is resolving the conflict together. It's resolution, not. And so we try to go into conflicts that way. Is how do we resolve this and be a team together? And sometimes it requires compromise. And so, being willing to compromise and say, okay, I can understand your point on this and I'll back down, and then vice versa. And,
Very good. Very good. Now, and in this, it leads into the next question is, how do you adapt to change? You can see that in life, we're all changing either physically, mentally, the way we approach things. People can change and grow throughout their lives, and healthy marriages learn how to adapt to changes. And have you seen within this 20 years of marriage changes and that you had to adapt? Can you share a story or an idea on that?
He's
How
just
do you
got
adapt?
better.
Oh man, you know what? You just ruined a point there. I don't know that. You know that dishwasher you needed? Not a problem now.
Just got more and more handsome.
Yeah.
I actually think we do really well with change. I don't know that that's something that we've ever
Struggle with or
struggled with. Yeah, I think overall we've done pretty good. We
what do you think about that, Ryan?
support each other.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think overall I do well with change just because, I mean, I've kind of gone through life with, I living day to day, I go through kind of no expectation of what's going to happen. If something gets tossed in our way and I wasn't, expecting it, I don't know that I react one way or the other. I kind of am like, level all the way through. So I don't get affected by much that way. So, I mean, it did take a big shift to kind of knock me off course, but I think that we've been able to, like, any changes that have come up, I mean, you talked this morning about changes with our home life and having kids and foster kids, and you just kind of move through it from one instance to the next and trust God that he's going to see you through the changes, and that he didn't put you in the position to fail, but he challenge you, see through the other side, and
Excellent. Great answers. So here's the last question, and people sometimes think it's kind of cutesy, but it's just kind of fun. On a scale of 1 to 10, Lisa hates when I do this to her. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the very best and 0 being, oh my gosh, you know, what's wrong with you? How would you rate your satisfaction with your spouse?
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 would recommend.
Okay. How about you, Ryan?
Yeah.
No, for improvement. She's a 10.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
can you say 20? Can you say?
All right.
I'll quite honestly.
These guys need to go on a date after this, but I think
We know it. That's why, though, we do prioritize. I tell any of our listeners, we prioritize date night. We are blessed to have a great community around us that have always been willing to help us with our kids so that we could focus on our marriage.
Yeah.
But even in seasons where we may not have had the help, we still, put the kids to bed early and spend time together as a couple. And so that's something we've really made a priority in our finances and in our time.
It's date night.
Is date night. And it could be even the mundane things of like, hey, let's go to the grocery store together instead of me just running out. He'll hop in the car and go with me, or, going out to dinner, or putting in our budget to go away for the weekend. That is something that we always made a priority, and because one day the kids will move on and they have their own life.
Here by yourself.
Do we still like each other and have fun with each other? And I would hate to find that out 25 years into it and I'm stuck with them. We know that we enjoy each other's company all the time, whether the kids are around or not. We have a lot of fun together, and laughter.
Yeah.
Laughter is, I think, heals any issues in a marriage.
Well,
Ryan's funny, so that helps.
he is. Okay. Well, anything else, Brian, you want to close with, or you all right? Okay. Well, thank you guys very much for this interview, and you have a blessed day.
Thanks, you too.